Hello and welcome everybody, Kicker of Elves here. We have got another OTA. We got the patch notes a few days ago. This goes live in-game tomorrow. Some nice shakeups. Nothing too crazy, but definitely going to help diversify the meta and maybe bring a couple new decks into a little bit more prominence than they have been. Interesting to have some changes so soon before the Golden Gauntlet Finals, or whatever the official name is, but I guess that's why we got the notes a little bit early. So let's go through, talk about who got crushed, who got bumped, and who has some negligible changes. Debrii. So this is changing from a 3/3 that adds a rock to each other location for both players to a 3/7 that adds a rock to each other location just for yourself. So pretty huge change. The Snap devs have, even if you look back way across towards the very beginning of the game, the nerfs have been focused on feels bad cards. Galactus originally was a feels bad card. Professor X, my favorite, was a feels bad card. Debrii, even though Clog has sort of come and go, especially with Merlin being out there, sometimes those rocks on your opponent's, you're putting those rocks on your opponent's side. It's like, all right, fine, I'll once and future that. I will polymorph that. Debrii can be a feel bad card. KM Best put out a deck not too long ago that one of the lines was Debrii on 3, miserying that Debrii on 4, and then having a Daredevil active from a previous turn on 2. So you just go in and see you're totally clogged, you're locked out. I like that kind of lane lockdown style, but I totally understand why the devs would want to nerf this. This is not fun to play against. Sometimes if an opponent's using it against you and they're not too practiced with it, they end up bricking themselves and it's beneficial, but sure. What I do like about the move to 3/7, that's a very competitive stat line. We just got a 3/7 effectively in Spider-Punk, so not too worse for wear. This could maybe, as they note in their patch notes here, maybe do something for Strange Supreme. They talk about maybe using this in Patriot, and like, sure, if your collection level 812 and you want to play Patriot, go for it, but I struggle to think of the last time Patriot was any sort of metaphors. So overall, I'm happy with this change. Making Clog less of a thing, making these kind of lane lockdown things just aligns with their priorities, makes sense. Maybe Strange Supreme comes back a little bit. Overall, I'm fine with it. Misery. Okay. I think we all saw this coming. This card did not need to be a 4/9. Everything staying the same, ability staying the same, cost staying the same, going from 4/9 to 4/8. I honestly think you could have taken this thing down to 4/7. Even at 4/8, Misery is statted as if what it's doing is a downside. It's not a downside, it is 100% upside. In a lot of situations, honestly, in most situations, you were either using this on the hood and removing -3 power from your board, so it's honestly like a 4/12 or a 4/11 now in those instances, or you're playing it into a location that has both a Misery and an Iron Patriot, so it's a net 0 loss in power. This card is very, very good. It's going to continue being very, very good, but I'm glad to see that there was some acknowledgement of like, let's take this down, but they probably weren't hard enough on this. Victoria Hand, spoilers, did not get nerfed. This is kind of the nerf there. That deck's still very strong. Hood Misery stuff is just Hood plus Misery. What a match made in heaven. That's a great package there. They could have been a little bit harder on this, I think, but good to see it getting knocked down even a little bit. Cosmic Ghost Rider, going from 5/7 to 5/6. They have a whole spiel about how this is like one of the highest played 5-cost cards, and they wanted to adjust it so the highest played card in that cost isn't a tech card. And yeah, I get it, but I think this is sort of just a symptom of everything they've been doing to tech. Like they've in this very patch, they nerfed Debrii, they nerfed Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I like that they're getting rid of the feels bad cards in a sense, but it's like they're not doing it across the board. Yeah, no one's playing Shang-Chi, but you can still get your Human Torch Shadow King on the final turn of the game, and it's like, all right, that feels bad. You could still have Mercury put on top of you, and that feels bad. You could still have a Cosmo stop you from doing your on reveals and blowing out, doing your destroy thing, and locks you out of lane, and that feels bad. So, on the one hand, I get what they're doing. I do overall like the sort of anti-tech stance, but then using that logic on Cosmic Ghost Rider, be like, well, he was one of the most played 5 costs, so we gotta bring him down a little bit. Is like, it was one of the most played 5 costs because you nerfed so much of the other tech into the dirt that he immediately became the best tech card because he kind of dealt with most of the other matchups. Maybe I'm just a little salty that I kind of bought him recently, like very recently. It's my most recent card purchase. Now he's down to a 5/6. It's fine. He's still doing what he's doing. If this makes people play less tech and build more sandcastles, I'm for it. I'm just, talking it through here. Wish they were overall more consistent with their sandcastles versus not building sandcastles sort of thing. Vision. This is fine. Vision's going from a 5/8 to a 5/9. Why not? Vision's a fun card. Move him into a storm location, move him into a Sanctum Sanctorum. It's great because everybody has this card. +1 power is not suddenly going to make people be like, all right, well, I'm going to get Vision in my move list. I'm going to, not even just your regular move list, but the move list with like Hydra Stomper, Batroc, Silk, and I'm going to play Vision on top of Silk and move him into my Craven lane. I don't see that happening, but anytime they give buffs, no matter how small, to cards everybody has, it's a good thing. So sure, happy with it. The first Ghost Rider going from a 2/6 to a 2/7, whatever. This feels just, I'm speechless, clearly. This card sucks. If you're not discarding your gore, doing some kind of, like Hela is not really a thing right now. This card was pretty much DOA when we found out that discarding the goblins, like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, negative power cards, didn't actually increase its power. This being a 2/7, again, sure, a little bit more power, but I don't think this is going to move the needle to get people to want to play Cosmic Ghost Rider in any of the discard lists that are out right now. M'Baku, this is hilarious. For those of us who've been playing for a long time, you might remember in the first, whatever it was called, Creators Clash that Kawa used to do. What's his name? Ordinary Harry won that with a Thanos Lockjaw list. That was kind of like the onset of people starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, this whole Thanos Lockjaw thing, that's really powerful. That deck had M'Baku in it. M'Baku was pretty quickly cut, but the fact that he's getting his text change, being turned into a 1/3, great stat line for a 1 cost. M'Baku now has a home in Cerebro 3. If you want to play that cursed little deck, tossing M'Baku in there could be very good. You've got M'Baku, you've got Makari, you've got 2 different cards that either jump out of your deck or jump out of your hand to get free power on the board. Sure, I'm for it. Again, it's a card everybody has. Why not buff them up a little bit? Fan Fei. Okay, this is an interesting one. So Fan Fei came out with a bunch of other move cards. She is kind of similar to Zombie Captain Marvel. High cost activates are just really hard to swing. So at a 4/7 with an activate, move your other cards here to the right, just not quite good enough. So our new text, 4/4, big loss in power. The activate is still moving the other cards to the right, but it is giving them +1 power. The exact text, let me just read it here. Your other cards here get +1 power, move them to the right. So the power buff happens before moving them to the right. Now, I'm not saying that Fan Fei is suddenly like a must include and move, but this has me a little bit interested. When you're playing the very popular move deck right now, sometimes if you're not drawing perfectly, your turn 4 can be a little bit awkward. If you don't have, Hellion and Cloak in hand at the same time going into turn 4, typically not playing one of them. You want to save your Hellion or your Cloak for turn 5, do the big reposition to set up for your turn 6 Heimdall or Juggernaut play. Maybe, call me crazy here, you're playing Fan Fei on 4, you're Hellioning the Fan Fei, and then you're setting up a torch or a dagger into that location, so you're activating her on 6, and then either Heimdalling to move things back to the left or setting things up with the Juggernaut. That could be adding in, additional mental gymnastics that just don't need to be there when you could just be like, all right, I'm going to just try to play. I'll use my turn 4 to get my Cloak and my Sparky down, or my Craven and my Sparky down. That's probably better, but there's some potential to mess around with that. All for the change. This is a move season. Why not give an underplayed move activate card some love? Hydra Stomper. Hydra Stomper is going from a 3-2 to a 3-3. And yeah, I get it. Another move season buff. This is a cool card. Even though I don't think the decks that he's used in are very good, the decks being like Batroc, Silk, Craven, the decks where you're just trying to move a bunch of stuff, I've thought this card was very good. That's a great scaler to have. If Scream is good, this can be very fun. I'm pretty high on Hydra Stomper, even though I don't love the deck. I just love the idea of it. I like the way Morbius is the lower cost scaler for discard, the way Goliath is the lower cost scaler for ongoing, the move equivalent here, and this potentially encouraging a kind of move deck where it's less about precise movement of Human Torch and Dagger and stuff like that, and just like nudging things in the direction of, what if we just moved everything everywhere? This is going to be a very deep cut, but years ago, before Annihilus came out, this is now over 2 years ago, an original data mine of Annihilus was that he was a 6/5 that just moved all of your cards everywhere randomly that were on the board. That's obviously, they did not go that direction because that's kind of crazy, but I like the idea of just the chaotic, I'm moving my Silk onto Craven, I'm moving my shield back and forth between Sam Wilson and Craven, Silk's bouncing around, Batroc's bouncing around, Hydra Stomper's getting bigger. That, even just describing it, sounds fun and exciting. Maybe that little 1 power nudge helps people try that out more, and maybe Scream doesn't have to be a part of that deck, so it doesn't try to mess with the move deck I love so much. Honestly, you can outpace Scream with the go-to move deck right now, but still. And that's it right now. That's the whole recap. So overall, I think this is a fine OTA. There's nothing in here that's really going to shake up the meta too much. I wasn't seeing a ton of Debrii before this. Maybe you honestly see more if people try to experiment with like Strange Supreme stuff. But overall, I feel pretty good about this. Fine changes, but I do think they, with the stated mission of decreasing tech's prominence, I think they need to really look at the tech they have left, the Juggernauts, the Shadow Kings, the Cosmic Ghost Rider that are still being used, and say, what direction do we want to go with this? The Red Guardians. Because as we keep nerfing these other tech cards, we have created so many other tech cards over the years that people are just going to continue to flock to the ones that have left. Are we just going to rework these cards entirely and totally rethink what it means to be a tech card in this game? Or are we just going to keep doing this sort of onesie-twosie? Oh, well, Cosmic Ghost Rider's played a little too much, and he's a tech card, so we nerf him a little bit. Or are we going to actually go in line with a nuclear option, do something even more drastic than they've already done? I doubt that's going to happen, but just seeing stuff like, oh, well, Debrii isn't fun, we're going to get rid of that. Cosmic Ghost Rider, just a little slap on the wrist. Don't know how I feel about it. But buffs to Vision, buff to Cosmic Ghost Rider, buff to M'Baku, buff to Fan Fei. A lot of these are cool. Cosmic Ghost Rider, the first Ghost Rider here. Someone must really like this character. Like, I don't know, like, why they keep coming back to this thing. Maybe it's because it was like an event, a limited time event card. But yeah, very interesting. So let me know what you think. Do you like this OTA better than last week's? How do you feel about Misery finally getting a slap on the wrist? Was Debrii your favorite card? Let me know.
If you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking around, and please like, subscribe, hit me up in the comments. I'll respond to everything. Just keep talking. If you want to just talk about how great FLCL is, I'm here for that too. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.